The new lifter liners by Maybelline are really good. There's a lot of different shades, but they last all day. I mean, you can see, and I'm pressing, they're not coming off. Well, even though spring is still a few weeks away, I need a spring makeup look. How about you guys? I just feel like I need to convince myself or maybe trick my mind that it's spring. And there are some tips and techniques and formulas that I use differently in the spring in my makeup routine than in the fall. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to do a spring look with you. It's all drugstore makeup, some of my favorites, and we're going to just lighten up the look and try to trick our mind into thinking that it's spring because, well, it's not yet, at least not here in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle where I am. Let me know in the comments down below where you are and is it starting to feel like spring? If not, we're gonna just convince ourselves of that. If you're new, hi, I'm Jody. I am 54 and I love all things makeup. I love sharing beauty tips and tricks with you guys here on my YouTube channel, as well as on NBC's King 5 New Day Northwest and Fox 13 Studio 13 Live here in Seattle. I do beauty expert stuff with both of those channels and absolutely love makeup. So let's get into it. If you're not sure how to prep, especially your under eye area before makeup, I will put a video right here for you. I just did my do not skip this critical step for those of us that are over 50. Regardless of your age, if you find that your under eye area tends to look more crepey or your concealer really starts to crease or look cakey as the day goes on, you might find that video helpful in prepping your under eyes and just what an important step that is to a good, long-lasting makeup look, especially that concealer area under your eyes. First thing I'm going to apply is this Superstay 24-hour skin tint. I have it in color 112. I typically will change my formula of my foundation from a more medium to full coverage foundation in the winter because I like almost a glam look every day. But in spring, I do like to lighten it up a little bit and go more for a skin tint. It is a tint, so you do get a light coverage out of this. Having said that though, I do find that I get enough coverage. It is buildable if you feel like you need to build it, but part of what I like to do with my summer or spring makeup is just not wear it quite as thick. I just like a little bit more of a tint. And this is probably a little bit lighter because I am faked tan from the neck down. Well, it might be okay once we're done bronzing it. And I just like to use a paddle brush. This is a flat paddle brush. Any makeup brush will do. I like to do 2 steps when it comes to my skin tint or foundation or whatever formula I'm using as my base. I will put it on with more of a paddle type brush, and then I'll go back in with a fluffy powder brush without powder on it and buff it out a little bit. You can use a damp beauty sponge. You can really use whatever you want. I just like to make sure that I don't have any lines in my makeup, which I typically don't, especially when I use a more thin formula like a skin tint. The skin tint by Maybelline has become a staple for me, especially on days where I want a no makeup look or a spring look like we're doing today. It doesn't settle into my fine lines and wrinkles. It stays in place like it says it does. I don't have to set this with a powder, which on more mature skin is a benefit. But you can see it's a natural satin finish, so it doesn't dry down matte, it doesn't oxidize, and it just gives your skin a nice healthy glow, which I love for spring. Now, the next thing that I need to do is I have a little bit of discoloration underneath my eyes. Not a lot of darkness, but definitely darker than the rest of my face. And I don't want to use a heavy concealer in the springtime, so I need to color correct that. And the one color corrector that I have found that works the best for me, if you've watched my channel before, you know this is a lip color by NYX, and this is the color Caliente. It is just the perfect formula for a color corrector. And it is the perfect orange for me because it gets rid of any of those dark purple, blue areas that cause me concern when I go to do my makeup. Concern's the wrong word. It's a little exaggerated, Jody. But I don't like that. I don't like that purple area under my eyes. So something like this, and the darker your under eye area, the better this actually works. I'm gonna thin it out quite a bit just to get that orange on my brush, but I don't want the original bright color. I want it muted down a little bit for the discoloration that I have today. If my eyes were more brown and really dark underneath, I would just go in with that full power of the orange. But today I just need to blot out some of the purple in the corners of my eyes. And this orange really does a nice job color correcting that deep purple. And again, it's a lip color by NYX called Caliente. I'll link it down below if you are looking for something to help with the discoloration under your eyes. And again, I don't want to wear a concealer today. I'm just going to cover this Caliente with my foundation because I don't want a heavy contoured bronze, concealer, multi-dimensional levels to my makeup today. This is really all I want. And you'll see how well this pulls together. So if you're looking at this like going, Jody, why am I following you as a YouTuber? Because that looks absolutely crazy. I get it. It does look crazy, but trust the process. It will all come together in the end. So wherever you have some purple discoloration, this stuff is really great. Originally, you may say now your under eye areas look absolutely worse than they did before. And you would not be wrong. But we're going to go back to our foundation, tap it over, and you'll see how pretty this comes to light. I'm going to go on top of my eyelids because I want to neutralize any discoloration that I have there. And when it comes to our more mature eyes or any areas where you have texture or you have wrinkles, the less product you can use, the absolute better. So you never want to put a foundation under your eye area, then a color corrector, then a concealer, because now we've layered 3 products and that really just screams, I'm going to crease on you. Now to get into that discoloration area, I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is the Nikki the Rose N12. There's a lot of brushes like this, you guys. Sigma has a smudge brush. Somebody reminded me in the comments. Just get a small smudge brush or your concealer brush and just go right over in those detailed areas. And again, I'm not using a concealer, I'm just using that foundation. Now, if you do set your under eye area with a light powder, be sure not to do that until you've pressed out any wrinkles. It's sort of like when you have a stain on a shirt and you take it from the washing machine to the dryer, and once you put it in the dryer, you've set that stain. Same concept applies when you add a powder under your eyes. Whatever creasing is happening before the powder, that's the creasing you're gonna get after the powder. It's not gonna make it better if you put powder on an existing crease. So now that I've got my foundation everywhere, I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy A507. Any big fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna go around all of my foundation and press it in, but sort of give it a buff. I'm not trying to pick up or move that product. I'm just trying to, push it in and then make sure that I don't have any streaks or lines anywhere. But that's really the look I'm going for, is an overall soft, semi-dewy, natural looking finish. And I think this Stay in Place does it remarkable. So the next thing I'm gonna do is pick up my NYX bronzer. This is in Butter Off. Now this is pretty dark, and again, I'm not going for a dark look today. So I'm just gonna pick up, I think I have another one of those. Yes, another Angie Hot and Flashy A507. And do I have 2 of the same one? I do. Okay, well I must have liked that one. I got 2 of them. Okay, so now I'm gonna just take that brush and really, really lightly, you guys, I don't want much bronzer at all. I just wanna softly add a little bit of dimension to this look. And that color might be a little bit too dark, but come summer it might be okay. We're just gonna lightly blend it out. Now when you hold your brush closer to the end, that's where you add a little more pressure. So as I was getting that bronzer on my brush, I should have held it back here. That gives you less control and a lighter touch, and I would have gotten less product. And as you blend it out, if you hold back here, you'll see how light that hand is. But because I need to really blend it, because I got too much, I'm gonna hold my brush closer to the front of the bristles. It just allows you to apply more pressure, and we can blend that out softly. There, that's a little better. And I'm gonna carry that all the way down my hairline, avoiding too much of this temple area because I have definitely lost some volume there. I want to go right on my jaw, pick up a little bit more, and blend that down my neck. so that it goes into that self-tanner. And then I'm just going to bring a little bit on the cheeks, underneath the cheeks actually, not right on the cheeks because that's where I want to put a little bit of blush. Just giving me a little bit of structure, not too much. I'm not trying to contour. I'm not trying to create structure to the face. I'm just trying to give my face a different dimension or different shading so that it's not all the mono color of my foundation, because nobody's skin is all one color. There's shadows, there's highlights, there's light touching it. And you want to add some life back into the face. And then I'll take whatever's left on my brush, and I don't know that this actually does anything, but I just add a little bit of contour or bronzer or shadowing to the side of my nose. And then on the bottom, my nose is already, in my opinion, too long and narrow and skinny. So I don't want to contour that because A, I don't want a heavy contour look, and B, I don't want to make my nose look even more skinny and long. I just want to add a little shadow there because there should naturally be a little bit of shadow on the side of my nose. When it comes to blush, I'm a big fan of these new Lumi by L'Oreal, but I've used this one in a couple recent videos, so I wanted to just pull out one that I've used before as well, but not as often, is the Camo Liquid Blush by e.l.f. And that's the name of it. I can't see it either, but I will find it with my magnifying glass after, and I will link it down below. You'll see that's very pigmented. Look at it next to that Caliente. I don't think I could ever wear that on my lips, but it looks good under the eyes. So because it's so pigmented, and this is a spring look, it's a lighter look, it's a little bit more of a muted colored look, I'm just gonna use the Wet n Wild, any fluffy brush. This just happens to be my blush brush. I'm going to lightly pick that blush up, and I'm gonna hold my brush back here because I want light hand on my blush brush. Any fluffy brush that you have will work. And then I just wanna put that, dab it on both sides. And then I will go in and blend. I just want to make sure that the product that I have is equally distributed between both sides and that the height of the blush is the same on both sides, because as I've gotten older, I feel like my cheekbones aren't straight, like one's a little higher than the other. So I've had to revisit how I apply. I used to just do one side and then the other, but when it comes to my eyes as well as my cheeks, I feel like I've had to go a little bit lighter and almost get a template on my face and then go, okay, those are about the same height. And now I can make any adjustments to the lack of symmetry that my face has gotten as I've gotten older. We have so much we have to think about as we get older, right? That's why looks like this are a little bit less stressful to create than a full glam look, because the whole point is just to not see a lot of makeup, but just to look light and springy and natural. I don't want to bring that blush too much farther than the outer corner of my eye. Definitely not farther into my face than the pupil or the center of my eye. That's really where I want to keep it, and then go around my face into my hairline. I'll just bring that up a little bit, warm up the face so that you can't really see where the bronzer ended and the blush starts. Just a nice soft look to the face, a little bit over across the top of the nose, and there we go. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is wipe off top of my hand because we're messing up the colors here. Now I want to curl my eyelashes because they need a little bit of help. I'm gonna take that bronzer that we used earlier and just do a very light dusting. And to do that, I'm gonna do a medium-sized fluffy brush. Put that color right on the tip. I don't want that color on the edges of this brush at all, because less is more when it comes to this. And I want to put that brush right in that outer corner on both sides, because that's where the majority of the product is going to go, similar to our template on our blush. And then just lightly bring that up, soft movements into the crease. If you have hooded eyes, this is where you'll create that crease. So right above that hooded area or behind your lashes, so that you can see a little bit of dimension right there. And I'm going to stop that color right about at the eyebrow, softly blending it away. So I just want a little bit of dimension to the eye, not a whole lot of anything. And then hang on to this because this is what we're going to put under our eye in a minute. Next thing I'm going to do is pick up just a glittery colored eyeshadow. This is a new one by e.l.f. called White Hot. Is that what it's called? Let me not make stuff up. Yes, white hot. Sometimes I think I know and then I say it and I'm like, what the heck was that? I made up a new eyeshadow color. You can use your finger for this. I'm just gonna use a small paddle brush, add a little bit of setting spray. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip. And because we put that foundation on our eyelid, it helps act as an eyelid primer. And what I love about this eyeshadow from e.l.f., the new ones, is they're glittery, but they're not glittery. They're shimmery. They're not glittery. That's what I should say. Look, it just looks like a nice natural highlight, which we're going to use as a highlight here in a second. But I'm just going to put that on my lower lids, really light, dabbing. I'm not really moving back and forth because I don't want a ton of it. I just want a wash of color. And if you have wrinkly eyelids, no worries. I do too. But we're just going to add a little bit of pop of light there. That's the whole purpose. We're not trying to add a eyeshadow look, just a pop of color right at that lash line. And you don't want to carry that too much higher where your eye opens and closes. And if you have hooded eyes, you want to put this right at your lash line to give yourself a little bit of a pop, and then focus a little more on the inner corner of your eye than if you don't have hooded eyes. So you just want something that's just nice and, like I said, a pop of color, and then grab just a little bit more and go on the tops of your cheeks. For a little bit of a highlight look, a little bit right on the edge of your nose, and then blend that all away. Next, I'm gonna grab the Express Brow by Maybelline. I just did a Friday face-off on this, was really impressed with it. I'll link that video at the end of this video in case you didn't see it. It is a quick way to do a soft look to your brows without a sharp brow pencil look, which I love a more bold brow, but this look calls for something a little softer. So just something like that. See the difference between the two? It gives you some volume, not crazy volume. Because you're adding mascara, if you will, to your brow hairs, it lets them it allows your brows to look more natural, in my opinion, than a bold brow with a pencil. And again, for a light spring look, that's really what I want with my brows. I don't want something too harsh. And because this is also a gel, it holds your brows in shape. I was really impressed with this. And my brows are definitely looking like sisters today, not twins, which is the look. There are some that I don't think Ancestry and me could even say my brows were related. There are those days where they just don't look at all related. Next, I'm gonna grab this eyeliner by Maybelline. This is in a black eyeliner. I'm gonna go on this outer corner of my eye and just put a little bit of a flick. Again, going back to that whole template thing, because I don't know if you guys are finding that, and maybe it's just me, but as I've gotten older, my face, the symmetry is just off. So I can't apply my makeup like I was saying earlier, like I used to, just do one side then the other. I really have to almost set a template and make sure that the angles are the same before I complete the look. For this look, I just want a little bit of eyeliner right in that outer corner, and then at about a third of the way up that eyelash line, I'm gonna slowly fade that eyeliner away, just so that I have a little bit of lift to the outer corners of my eye. Same thing on this side. I'm just gonna go take that corner where I flicked it, right at the lash line, and then about a third of the way on that lash line, bury the eyeliner. And if you find that you've gone too far, or you're like, say on this side, I'm a little farther than I am on this side, no worries. You can just wipe that away with a Q-tip. You can add a little bit of concealer to cover it up, or just go back to your eyeshadow and cover it up. It absolutely happens. Not a big deal. Now you can also use this right underneath your lashes and really push that color at that lash line in that outer corner. I'm not gonna do that because I want a softer, lighter look. I'm gonna use the bronzer that we used as my under eye liner. And there's a couple different options. This is the kind of brush that I don't really wanna use because the bristles are so narrow and tight. I want a fluffier look like this. The reason being, when I go to do my under eye area, I'll show you the two different brushes. This is a great brush, especially for brows, but see how it gives you that harsher line? I want more of a soft blown out look, which is what you get from a pencil brush. You can see the difference in the way those lines look. I really want that softer line for my under eye area. So I'm just gonna tap off some of that powder. Just go a little bit under the eyes, not too far. add some mascara. I mean, look how good that mascara works. That's just one coat. I am going to put a second coat, but I'm going to focus that second coat on the outer quarter or 25% of my eyelashes, just to give them a little bit of a fox eye, if you will. But we'll wait till they dry down to do that. All right, now I'm going to wipe off the back of my hand again because I've got a lot of makeup on the back. And I'm going to go into that blush that we used, which was that e.l.f. blush. I'm going to add just a tad bit on my back of my hand because, again, I want more of a sheared out look for my lips. And I'm going to take my CoverGirl Yummy Plump Lip Gloss. Has a little bit of a glow in it. I'm going to put it right next to that blush. Mix the two together and add it to my lips. Okay, then the last thing I'm going to do is add some lip liner, and this is the Lifter Liner by Maybelline in Big Lift. Love, love, love these new Maybelline liners because I'm going to show you guys something. I'm just going to put that mark right there, and then I'm going to put my lip liner on. We're going to feather out these eyelashes again, and I'll show you how that is going to be really hard to rub off. That's how well these lip liners work. One of the things about spring and summer is that you want to get away from such a solid lip stick, more of a solid look, and go for more of a lip gloss, a lip oil, a lip stain, a lip balm. It just lightens up the look. And that concept really works the same for all of your makeup. You want a more sheer coverage on your foundation, more sheer coverage on your blush, more sheer eye look. Everything's a little more sheer or muted than it is in the wintertime. So you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new makeup when it comes to a spring look. You just want to dilute it out or sheer it out a little bit and use more of your pinks and your peaches. Other than that, it's really just a matter of the placement and wherever you want to put your makeup. So I'm just going to line my lips. Just like that. You can always get a little fancy and go back to that highlighter that you used and just add a little highlighter right to the top of the lip. Give you a fake lip lift. And there you go. Oh, no, we're not quite done. I said I was going to feather out my last part of my lash. Again, I'm just putting that second coat on that outer edge just to give a little bit more of a pop to the eyes. So there you go. Even though it feels like a lot of steps, it really isn't a lot of products. We use the same products for a lot of different areas, and it's just a nice soft summer. I have a little bit of makeup on, but I'm embracing this time of the year, and I love that. Well, I hope you did this look with me. If not, get excited again about the makeup that you already have, maybe some of those colors that you wouldn't normally lean towards, but just think spring. Some of the best trends for spring makeup is to take cues from the colors that you see in spring. That is the best way to pull those trends from a season onto your face. So again, it's light lavenders, it's light blues, it's light pinks, peaches, really light but muted colors. So you can get really creative with it and have fun with the makeup that you already have. If you are looking for new makeup, there's some great new drugstore makeup. As I said, those lift liners by Maybelline. Oh yeah, I was gonna test it. The new lip liners by Lifter Liners by Maybelline are really good. There's a lot of different shades, but they last all day. I mean, you can see, and I'm pressing, they're not coming off. So a big fan of these. You could even just line your whole lip with this and put a gloss on top of it and it would be stunning. So you could do a lot of different things. Just have fun. That's the most important thing. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Enjoy the beginning of this time of the year. It's so fun. And most of all, happy International Women's Day, which is March 8th. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in just a couple days. Bye-bye.